understanding alone brings an end to suffering. Why? Because understanding brings clarity, and understanding is knowledge. So we all are seekers, and the seeker is fully aware. Seeker is fully aware what seeker has to do. Understanding atom or a cell or a neuron, it is good to understand. I always love to study and know what is latest in physics and sciences, life sciences. But a seeker is single pointed, focused on what is my true nature. That needs to be clearly understood by the mind. So, this is very important. Now, know your real self. And we say, what about the self? You are studying physics, and then you interfere, and then I say, cell is also an atom. So that will not work. So the seeker has to be single pointed, and we already worked on different aspect: discernment, dispassion, one pointedness. So what we have been studying? We have been studying that the mind covers the real self. And once we understand how the mind covers this real self, understanding is required. We had yesterday, the entire sky was clouded. So I have to understand, in order to find the sun, I have to understand how it is clouded. So mind is covering the real self. Once we understand how, why, we are done. So for a couple of sessions, we have understood that there are two flows of the mind, like the river has a two flow. We understood the three diseases of the mind: attachment, that means emotional dependence. Second is sorrow, that causes the sorrow and the suffering. And the third is it leads to delusion. We live in delusion. That is why I claim that I am in stress, I am suffering, I have an anxiety, I have duality, I have a conflict. And we expanded these three diseases. We means, the Krishna, the founder, the originator, he says these three diseases can be extended into 8 factors. Objects of the world outside. Then sense organ perceives them, backed by the mind. And then we have an attachment and detachment, and that causes the desire. Desire fulfilled, still a problem. And desire not fulfilled, still it is a problem. So that causes the delusion. Delusion, loss of memory, loss of intelligence. Now, to summarize everything, it means that my mind has created a universe with these 8 factors. And I live into that world. That is why I am suffering. I don't see the real world as it is. So when we say delusion or illusion, it does not mean this world is delusion. The universe I created in my mind is a problem. Is a problem. Are you getting it? Oh, my mouse has fallen. So you see that? So it is happening in my mind. One example, crush at first sight. But crush at first sight, who told you to get crushed at first sight? Sam is love. Who told you? Love at first sight. Such an extraordinary person you are. So you are crushed. You have a crush at first sight. So you will definitely be crushed. How? Because of these 8 factors. So it means crush at first sight means I have started building a world with these 8 factors and I continue to live into that world. It is definitely going to create problems. Self-created universe is the delusion. You know, this 5 elements space. The universe is so beautiful, but we see, so the photochromatic. We color. I don't remember the exact word. We color these glasses, so that the moment we go outside, it changes the color. The moment we wake up, we color our mind. Problem comes. How we color? My honey, crush at first sight. I have to do this. I have to do that. No, I have a reaction and anxiety. Do you remember? It is something like log of wood is holding you. I told this story to one rose colored. Yes. First rose colored, then it becomes rosy, and then the same problem. Then this rosy is holding me at all the time. Kate has written rose colors. So you see that needs to be understood, that when I wake up in the morning, do I live from moment to moment consciously? So, can you remove that photochromatic, that colored glass and see the world as it is? This is what we have understood in the last few sessions. So keep that clarity. So once I become clear, I meet you and the mind is ready to color. Through my understanding, I remove that color. That is what we remove, the illusion and delusion. Remember, this universe is not a delusion. I created an illusion in my mind. So let us move little further. So do you remember that the river has 2 flows? Ida, hurricane, I told you. Same thing, the mind has a flow of thoughts, the river is a flow of water. Comparison gives you clarity and understanding. So then we say this mind has a 2 flows. One flow, our master named as a Shreyas. The other flow, the master named it as Prayas. Shreyas means what is right and good, and Prayas means what I like, what is pleasant to me. Means Prayas creates a universe which is not true, which is full of delusion, which is full of 8 factors. And Shreyas helps me to perceive this universe as it is. Like a child, spontaneity, consciousness is blossoming in that. So now next question comes from where these two flow come. Do you remember? I told you it comes from a glacier. A comparison. Glacier means past impression accumulated from the previous and the current birth. Deep rooted seed impressions are known as vasana. And whatever we are, you see that. Let me give you another example that you are attending the session. You're not attending the session that I'm giving a lesson, but your vasana, your impressions in the mind that was present, which has led and inspired you to attend the session. I don't come into the picture. Do you see that? So that comes from the glacier. So our master says it is because you did something good in the previous birth. That we will take up later on. So that is the first thing, the glacier. And the second is the rainwater. I said current and the daily life, the way I'm living with my thought, speech, action, what I want to do, where I'm going, and I'm getting influenced by the society, culture, parents. So that current impressions, they also contain both shreyas and prayas. Glacier also contains both shreyas and prayas. So we are answering the question from where? Did you ever ask that why you are attending the session? Why? Why? Who told you? So it is because of the previous sanskaras, previous impressions. And third is that you get stressed. There is a sudden incident in your life or event in your life that pulled you. No, let me find out. I have to bring an end to the suffering. Do you see? So clarity, you should have a clarity. You don't need to go into mysticism. You need not to follow any cult. You need not to follow any dogma. You need not to follow any. That understanding is required. So, the medical science also says we have a cognitive ability, cognition. You heard the word? Cognition, recognition. Huh? I'm not going into the medical science because American Psychological Association will sue me if I use the word CBT. CBT, they have developed a technique, cognitive behavior, they say therapy. Now recognize, let me remind you, 3 diseases, 8 factors, real world versus self-created world, real self versus false self. This is all about the cognitive ability. See that? If I do not understand clearly, no meditation will succeed. So the great difference between the Eastern wisdom is that we did not allow the mind to reach to a threshold to go to a doctor. Doctor means if you have a disease, if you have some symptoms, then only you go to the doctor. But what is happening inside me because of my self-created universe, that is definitely going to create problems, suffering, anxiety, duality, conflict. So our master says, hold on. Hold on. Log of wood is now holding you. Do you realize? Do you recognize? Become aware. Treat here and now. So let me remind you again that every human being has a higher level of self awareness, and we have a free intellect. Now, when we say cognitive ability, it means my intellect is free. My mind may be addicted. The same intellect says, no, I want to get rid of it. It comes from same head. Do you see that? So that is what cognitive ability. We are talking of that. We are not talking of CBT, or whatever BT or CT. Clarity of understanding. See the in-depth understanding of Eastern wisdom. So that leads to another deeper understanding of what is Shreyas, what is Preyas. Do we live our life daily? We can definitely say, I like you, I love you, etc. But you have to check, you have to maintain awareness inside whether it is coming from a self created universe or it is coming from the real. You are a human being, so I love you. I have a crush on you, that is why I love you. There is a difference. So one takes me to prayers, other takes me to Shreyas. Any activity in this world, any activity, any thought, any feeling, any expression that you make, you have to check whether it is coming from prayers, whether it is coming from Shreyas. Half the journey is done. You will never find that you are fully busy. You will find that you are always free. I can tell you. Those who have been telling me, no, I have been busy. I know why you have been busy. Why you have been busy. You have to remember this. When the mind is moving to prayers, we have understood prayers. You will be busy, you will be anxious, and if it continues, your sleep will be disturbed. You will have a reaction, you have an anxiety, and long list. Why? We are not using our cognitive ability. Why? We are not using our intellect. Why? We are not using our understanding. So, Shreyas means simply intellect, knowledge, understanding, and clarity. Prayas means behavior, attitude, impulsive instinct, weakness, mental dependence. It's a mental COVID. The virus cannot go. You know that. That's why I say mental COVID. Until awakening takes place. It will be minimized, it will go in the background, but that is why the Master says we have to reach to the ultimate reality. That is why I use the word mental COVID. Follow intellect. Intellect is knowledge. Knowledge is understanding. But I told you before that, okay, let me understand what your masters have been saying. So I say real self, and then your mind enters into the neurosciences. It says neuroplasticity. It is good. It is good. But what I'm doing, am I searching my real self or I'm searching the neurons? So that is why Master says we need a clarity, single pointedness. When the mind jumps here and there, we bring it back. Why? So that we can filter Shreyas and the prayers together. So, what is happening now? Again, I'm repeating for the sake of understanding that this mind has two flow. They are always present in the mind. That you can say it is a blessing in disguise. It is always present. So, what we do, we minimize the flow of the prayers in my mind through understanding to get rid of the self created universe. When, when, where, in all conditions, with whom, with everyone, including your honey, including friends, including foes, including different conditions, adverse or good situations in life. Do you see that? That is why we say the mindfulness. Huh? Mindfulness. So now go a little deeper that first recognize the importance of becoming a seeker. So I'm using 4R: recognize, receive, retain, realize. Recognize. Cognition, recognition, cognitive ability. So, with that cognition, I am recognizing Shreyas and the prayers movement. The moment any prayers movement is there through the intellect, through the understanding, drop it. Drop it. Do you still remember the story of a monkey who was sitting on a tree and the gardener? The rancher was picking up the bananas and putting into the basket. Do you remember? And then he narrowed down the basket because every time the monkey jumps onto that basket and picked up the banana and jumped onto the tree. So he narrowed down the mouth of the basket. Monkey put a hand into the basket, picked up 5 bananas. Area of the hands became bigger. He was not able to bring his hands out, and the gardener thrashed him. Nature thrashes us. Nature always thrashes if you live in self-created universe. So what it means? What it means? I have a stress, I am responsible. No one else is responsible. I am into anxiety, I am responsible for it. I have a pain, I am responsible for it. Who said that you remain fully busy? You are responsible. Once I recognize that, then the second step starts to receive. But in receiving this knowledge and this understanding, our mind, our intellect, and the memory should be present. Okay, just half an hour he gives a talk, and after that half an hour practice, and after an hour I enter into my self-created world. And then we come back and blame the teacher. Oh, this is not working. You are responsible. Receive. To receive means you are listening from the mind, you keep that knowledge in the intellect, and the memory holds on to that knowledge. When the memory holds on to that knowledge, then the third step comes. Where is that? Retain. Now you retain that knowledge. By repeat practice, you wake up in the morning and mind says it's a bad morning. But now you have retained the knowledge. You convert that bad morning into a good morning next second. Why? Because you know the truth. That sun rises at the same time. Sun gave me the same light as it gave light to everyone in this world. So what is bad about it? So this bad comes from the prayers. That is what is the meaning of retention. Retaining that knowledge. So when you retain, and then you can't, because you have already contemplated, reflected on it, you remove the doubt. There is no question of bad morning. Every morning is good. It's not a bad morning because sun rose from the west. It is still rising from the east. Now apply the same. Honey is still the same. Why am I upset? Honey is the same. No. You have changed a lot. Retain. Retention of the knowledge, followed by we do the practice. But the time comes, the last point before we start doing the practice, the time comes, then the practice leaves you. Why the practice leaves you? You need not to do the practice. But why you don't need to do the practice? You are already at your home. Why you need to do the practice? You don't need to do the practice. Practice is left. Why practice is left? Mind is overwhelmed with the Shreyas. The self-created universe has gone. Self-created universe is gone. You don't need to take the pills when the problem is over. You don't go to the doctor. That results in awakening. That results in meditative state. When? All the time. Where? In all conditions. With whom? With everyone. Let us start our practice today. Eyes are closed. Adjust and align your body. Adjust and align your body. Eyes are closed. Mind is facing within. Do you see why the mind is facing within? To recognize mind, do you have a flow of prayers or shreyas? At this moment, here and now. So if the flow is shreyas, intellect has already given an order to the body to be steady. The mind does not interfere with the prayers, and you are there. Check as a seeker, is it a big deal to make the body steady? No. So in the beginning, we have spent the time in making the body comfortable and at ease, and the mind goes back to the shame, prayers, self-created world. Word is that, no, I have a stiff body. Come on. Are you committed to meditate? Forget about this stiffness. The way you want to keep your body is good. See that. Understanding, I have been saying, mind is facing within to recognize the first step, the cognitive ability we all have. Cognitive ability we all have. So, do you see with the recognition, body becomes steady. Mind continues to face within. And there is an awareness, we say goodbye to all the senses, sense organs. With likes and dislikes. Again, I'm saying it is all about cognition. Nothing more than that. Nothing less. So look at the same thing deeper so that we understand and we are assimilating that knowledge, being comfortable. And I used different ways to express it. Just go to the neck joint. I feel the sensation. It is cognition. It's a knowledge. I feel steadiness. That is also a knowledge. Whether you say knowledge or experience or awareness, but the mind is moving within, so it moves into the space. Do you remember the space is awareness and awareness is space? You are already in that state. But we are continuing the practice to check it, to discover that it is permanent. That is the journey of a seeker. For a non-seeker, this practice is good, that practice is good, this teacher is okay, that teacher, long list. Now I can say with you, I don't say this until one becomes a seeker. So now pick up another one, look at the shoulder joint, you look any object. Or, so I restricted it to the parts of the joints of the body. Shoulder joints. Awareness, knowledge, and experience. Sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Going deeper. Space. Space is awareness, and awareness is space. Entire body. Sensation, comfort, and steadiness. There may be a movement of the prayer, self-created universe. What it says, mind says, no, I feel this and that in the body. You see? Why the mind says? Now you recognize. Why the mind says this? Because mind still says, I am the body. But if it comes, if any discomfort and unease comes, settle it. move into the same sensation, comfort, and steadiness, then ask the mind to see the space. Awareness is space, and space is awareness. Apply that parable in the story. The log of wood is holding you, or the mind is holding on the space. Simple. So that covers the first step to receive the mind, intellect, and the memory. It continues in being carefree also. Same thing. Being comfortable at a physical level and being carefree at a mental level. What do you mean? Thought comes, let it come. Thought comes, and I enter into sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Do you see that? Initially, we were doing as a second step, different independent step. Thought comes, very good. No worries. You are in sensation, relaxation, stillness. How come? You are not the thought. First understanding. Second, it comes because of prayers during the practice. Oh, prayers is a self-created word. I understood, so I say, okay, thank you. I'll take care of you later. So that is one aspect. But now another understanding. These thoughts may come from glacier, rainwater, volcano. It comes from volcano. It may lead you to delusion. Instantly, you will forget. You will be upset that your meditation did not succeed. Not because of you. So, we repeat it again. And if it comes from a glacier, it gives you some impression, and through the understanding, you maintain sensation, relaxation, and stillness. And now see, we already understand that Shreyas and prayers both are present inside us. And we want to move to Shreyas. So we can give some impressions in the mind by the mantra. You see, everything, clarity should be there. No belief, no cult, no religion, no blind belief. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. 3 times mentally. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. Our masters say recitation is different from singing. Singing engages a lot of musical instruments. But mind is already an instrument, so we don't need any other instrument. So first 3 times recitation, because The words that passes to my mind should be understood clearly. And then the meaning is, may there be, let everyone be happy. So now we will do it mentally 3 times with the meaning. Meaning means what? Understanding. Understanding means what? Awareness. So actually you see the peace within and everywhere. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. I believe you all remember the word, meaning, and the knowledge. That is how we move the mind. What happens in that case? The contemplation and reflection becomes natural. What about the knowledge? Do you love peace? Do you love happiness? Yes, happiness is your nature. So if it is your nature, then it is the nature of everyone. Why should I live in a self-created world? That understanding, let us do that. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. Vare. Second line. So what we say? Recognize. So word. Simply you are reciting the word as you need not to understand the meaning in the first instant. Sarve santu niramaya, mentally. Sarve santu niramaya. Sarve santu niramaya. Three times with the meaning, let everyone be healthy or free from the illness. Our illness, 8 factors. And if the mind is truly focused, it recognizes the 8 factors. Many people, when they do it individual sessions, it will cure cancer. My answer, yes and no, doesn't work. Sarve santu niramaya. Sarve santu niramaya. Sarve santu niramaya. You see the knowledge, understanding that the way, without doing anything, I can move the mind within and discover that state of well-being. It is a state of consciousness that we will understand as we continue our session. So let us Sarve santu niramaya. Goal, you remember, Sarve santu niramaya. Sarve santu niramaya. My friends, goal you remember. Both Shreyas and Prayas are present in the mind deep inside at three levels. So we are triggering the Shreyas movement deep inside the glacier, rainwater, but from outside, from the mind. That is what the practice is. Be very clear. It is already there. So it means when we awaken to that state, we will leave the mantra? Yes, throw the mantra into the garbage. Not required. Our masters are very clear. Third line, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. It blows my mind. I don't know about you. You all are seekers, so it also blows your mind. What it means, let everyone be blessed. We are not talking of any god, girl, dog, blessing. Why? I'll tell you once we go to the knowledge. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Now the knowledge part in this mantra. Blessing, grace are always there in the universe. Condition, I live in the real world. I don't live in the self-created world. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. So while reciting the mantra, what the mind is looking, I live in, whether I say Shreyas or the real world, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Fourth line, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavi. Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavi. Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavi. Meaning, let no one suffer from any misery in this world. When this mind moves like with this meaning, compassion is the natural. Well-being, happiness, huh? And the blessing is natural. So the person who lives into that state, who passes the blessing, works. When we say, let God bless you, we neither know who is God, we don't know the blessing. Sarve ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhave. Ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhave. ma kaschid dukkha bhagu bhavid. So you might remember in the very beginning, I said when happiness, health, and the blessing, they go together, they merge, huh? They leave us in the state of freedom from the miseries. Why? Every time why is very important. Because the mind left the self-created world. Oh. Ma kaschid dukkha bhagu bhavi. Ma kaschid dukkha bhagu bhavi. Ma kaschid dukkha bhagu bhavi. Oh, mind moving deep inside the heart. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Okay, point deep inside the heart by saying, oh, mind has moved inside. Then you pick a point and there you drop Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. What do you reflect? The mind is 100% one pointed, living within. Do you remember when we are the highest level of a seeker? To the highest level of a seeker, I say moving within, living within, awakening within. Only 3 steps are required. Continue. Mentally, yourself, or loudly, whatever you feel. Whether you are doing loudly or mentally. Mind is moving within. How come? Through your awareness. How come? By intellect. How come? By understanding. You drop Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. All the 3 steps are clear. Recognize, receive, retain. Realize is a non-step. You see the clear path as you recite. And with that understanding, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sometime you might have felt a deep experience as I recite the mantra. Now you are reciting and you are deepening your experience. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Continue. Like the internet connection drops you from this session the same way the mind with the prayers, just understanding. I need not to complete such sentence. So we return again. Not a big deal. Is there any need to me to say Om Shanti Shanti Shanti? No, you are already doing it. Bring your mind on the right hand. The mind still lives within. Bring your mind on the left hand. Yes, this is a transactional world. We will continue to live in this world outside, but inside, complete the sentence. Raise both your palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside, bring the hands down. How are you, guys and girls? How are you, Sam?
Oh, good. Uh, I've noticed lately the meditation for me has taken a path of um, getting really, really, really deep, like
I
all
love.
the way calming my mind down to finding peace, almost to the point of being, as deep as it gets in terms of a meditation. And then I find the second half of the meditation is slowly um, reviving my energy and bringing the light back.
Busyness has
And
gone.
it's peaceful in both ways. And the busyness is gone. Yeah. Now
You,
it's crush at first sight.
he told me a couple of times I have been very busy and he sent an email. You see, from that perspective, if we reflect on where is the busyness in life? Very good. I appreciate it. How are you, David and Jerry?
Um, yeah, sort of similar to the first half of Sam's for me. I'm noticing the same thing too, just tremendously deep. That was again deeper than Saturdays. Saturdays was deeper than Thursdays. They just keep getting deeper and deeper.
Good.
Just like no thought.
Beautiful. That is the sign of the progress. That is what we want. How are you, Jerry?
Good. So the meditation was very fast, quiet, and the takeaway or the part that resonates with me, I guess, is the working on the mind instead of the mind working on me. And I find that there's a lot less of having to stop and work on the mind.
That's good. That's good. Or simply remember, log of wood you are holding, or complete the sentence. How are you, Lara?
I am good. It was very quiet, and it seemed to go really quickly. And I, because I haven't been here for a while, I had spent 3 days in silence last week, and I was using practices that we did like a year or so ago to
Good.
like just keep myself centered and rooted. So I'm a little bit behind, but that's okay because I got to reuse and remember the practices to bring to work with me now. So
Beautiful, beautiful. One of the reasons that we live or we do or we listen to the teacher because the teacher makes your mind silent. You have not to go anywhere to have 3 days silence. If you are with me, you are always silent.
I have another teacher, so it was with that
Oh,
teacher.
okay. That's good. That's good. That's wonderful. Yeah, we should have as many teachers as possible, but keep your intellect open for clarity. How are you, Stephen?
I'm great. This was another very peaceful, deep meditation, similar to how David and Sam described it. For me, it's I this out to you when you said it that one time. The world is as it is, and I've acknowledged that, I've accepted that, and I'm living that every day. And this is just part of that.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
You see that when you live into that extraordinary awareness, I'm just throwing a statement. When you live into that extraordinary awareness, now see, in that state, for example, I look at Lara or Stephen or David and Jerry, the mind picks up a different thought pattern. So you live simultaneously with the world that is real and the world that is transactional. Transactional world. What is transactional world? I cannot stand in between the highways. Transactional reality. I have to stand across. So you live into that world simultaneously. That takes you deeper. How are you, Vaibhav? Good.
So I'm good. My practice was like that. The emotional dependencies that you're talking about. So if I can see that these are my mental slaveries,
Good.
that it's holding me to keep going on to that thing. And if I had a glimpse that I can live without even those things as well, then that is the actual freedom that I'm looking for. So that was very peaceful.
That is
when I see myself that
peaceful.
it can go.
Can I say I will not speak openly, but what you told me before, those problems are gone?
Yes. Now I can better handle those problems.
That's good. That's good. No, we are not talking about problem, but this is between you and me. How are you, Terry? Where is Ashok, my dear friend? Oh, you're here. How are you, Terry? How are you? Ashok, in the meantime, yes, Terry is going there. No problem. You are not the body, you are not the mind, you are?
Yes. I don't really know what to say
Don't say anything.
today.
But internally you are okay?
Yeah,
That is more important.
I feel like the thing is fighting me, but I'm not fighting it.
Yes, that is
I'm
very important.
doing something else. Or I'm not doing anything. I'm doing nothing else.
Remember, my friend, fighting is also the part of the self-created universe. Think of this. Pleasure seeking.
I wish I sort of wanted to know where it's coming from because I'm not doing it. So I'm not doing it, and I'm thinking, where is this coming from? I'm not doing this.
Yes,
But,
you are
you know-
approaching near. You are approaching very near by making this statement.
And I think that's why it's happening.
Inquiry, reflection, understanding. You see that you are the one who joined this session having this challenge. Other people cannot understand. Others having the same problem cannot understand. So that makes you a seeker. And the time will come, you will see that all these symptoms will have to go away. Let us hope. How are you, Ashok? You know, it's a curtain raiser, Ashok. Comes. Yes. How are you, sir? We see your teeth, we see your movement of the lips. We don't hear you. Let me also.
Sir,
Sir.
sir, namaste.
Namaste, sir.
Meditation are peaceful and becoming seeker slowly and slowly.
Good.
And during the whole day, I contemplate and reflect whatever been taught. So it is going good.
Now I will also ask you a last question. You made lot of complaints. Now they are dropping down.
Of course, sir.
Oh.
Now I'm understanding.
You see, the
Now
world
understanding
outside
more
is the
clear.
same. The world outside is the same.
Yes, yes.
Good. I love
Problems
it.
are same.
Yeah, yeah,
Thank you so much.
Then what? Then what? Very good. I appreciate this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, sir. Namaste, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Namaste. Thank you.
Namaste.